We have with us Mr. Jayant Davar, the MD of the company, joining us on the show. The company has recently bagged a patent, or actually has been granted a patent for its invention called the Smart Lock, which is anti-theft and has a lot of other important features as well. But Mr. Davar, talk to us about the revenue potential of this, as well as the fact that you have just talked about some expansion of capacity in Gujarat as well. Talk to us about how the business is looking and what's the overall potential.
Hi, thank you for having me. Well, if the talk of the auto industry, I think the industry is doing very well. We are looking at almost all sectors of the industry doing well. The commercial vehicles are um, doing extremely well, growing at double digits, especially on the back of the government push on infrastructure and on replacement vehicles coming in. The passenger vehicles, although in terms of volume growth is not as much as can be, but the value addition in terms of higher level of or more expensive vehicles are selling more, which means that people are moving from the entry level on to the next levels. The two-wheelers again have started doing well. We see that demand coming in from the rural markets, which is a good implant of where we are going further. The tractors, of course, are not doing well at this point of time, but this is again on the back of some solid years in the growth of what has happened with tractors. Construction equipment, again on the back of government's push on infrastructure, is doing extremely well. The EVs continue to grow, but a lot depends on the FAME subsidy. So we will have to wait and see how that plays out for the next year. But I think in terms of the norm and in terms of what the flavor is, EVs will continue to grow. So that's on account of what I believe the market is showing us at this point of time. In terms of the patent on smart locks, smart locks is again a game changer for many in the industry, especially us, we being the largest players in this arena. A mechanical lock vis-a-vis a smart lock. A smart lock costs almost 4 to 5 to 6 times more. So therefore, as this a substitution takes place in almost all vehicles, uh, that is the potential that we carry in the next few years.
That's good to hear, but I also wanted to get an understanding what will all of this mean in terms of the revenue potential. I understand you're doing right now a run rate of almost 800 crore per quarter, translates to close to around 3,000, 3,500 crore on a per annum basis. In a couple of years, how do you see this inching up to?
Well, I will not give you forecasts, but what I can do is that a typical mechanical lock costs between 400 to 500 rupees. And a typical smart lock starts at 2000, goes up to almost 6,500 rupees. So if you calculate on an average basis, you're looking at almost a 8 to 10 times value increase for revenue. This, of course, doesn't constitute all of our 800 crores, but even if we do 20-25% of this revenue comes from smart locks, that's the potential upside that you would see in a few years.
At least we got some color in terms of the potential upside, but what about the margin profile as well? Since you talked about, the value added bids, the premiumization wave that we are seeing, what does all of this mean for your margins? Because right now they have been sub 10%. Do we see them going into the double digit mark soon?
Well, our margins typically should be in double digits, early double digits in any case. Some of the margin loss has been largely on account of the new investments that have been done in the last couple of years, where obviously when you grow and expand, the existing businesses also suffer some pangs from that growth. Now that we have done all the investments and we've made ourselves ready for the next few years, and there will be some, let me say, restriction on the capital expenditure, you will see the margins go up as return on capital employed and return on investments. And of course, with the smart locks, there will be margin growth, but a lot of that effect will come on the numbers or the value of that or volume of profit, which will mean much higher numbers in terms of return on capital employed and return on investment.
Okay, so that's the verdict that the return ratios are likely to improve much better going forward. Thank you so much, Mr. Davar, for making time and speaking with us.
Thank
A little
you.
less on time today, but would have loved to chat more.